All right, so Jake, going into your senior season, just I guess first question is how do you feel just kind of after last season? What the expectations, knowing that you have a lot of records you could possibly be breaking this year?
Yeah. Learned a lot from last season. A lot of ups and downs for sure from last season, and a lot of stuff I think our offense collectively learned, about ourselves, and just really took that into spring, grew from it, from the season to the end of spring practice, and then through the off season, through the summer. Really just getting better. And then as far as this season, really not thinking about the records too much, and just trying to be the best I can for the team and win as many games as possible.
I know you've already kind of gone on social media and said, I see you guys in 2020, that sort of thing. When it comes to social media and a guy like you who has been here now long enough to kind of see both the positives and the negative impacts about that kind of stuff, how easy is it to kind of release that and kind of get focused in, or is that something you kind of have a little difficulty maybe wanting to check in on it?
I think Twitter was something that I learned, pretty early on not to get on, and Instagram kind of being more, later, kind of just this year being the first year, kind of got off that too. Just with social media, there's a lot of good that comes from it. I mean, you can do a lot of good things, but I think for me, it's just that pollution, not corruption, but it's, your brain just starts to see that, and you see the negative stuff, and then you get bogged down by it. And so, as much as you can, I like to eliminate all that and just focus on what's important, and that's winning as many games as possible.
So I want to take you back to last season because I know you've had now some time to kind of process those last few games. You guys haven't scored in 6 quarters, going back, of course, to the bowl game, a couple of quarters before that. But previous to that, you put up quite a few points on the in-state rival, and had you had somewhat of a healthy defense, there is a very legitimate chance that game could have been much closer than it was. Just kind of coming off that, does any of that kind of stick in your mind, knowing that, hey, when we're clicking and when we're firing, we can hang with the best in the country, and then all of a sudden here you are a week later into the bowl game, it's kind of the opposite. What's kind of the mindset, and what have you processed during that time?
Yeah, I mean, I think I think it was, like I said, a huge learning experience for us, and that each game is its own, season. I know we talk about that a lot, each game being a season, but it really is. It's truly, you got to take each game separately and not get too, not thinking about too much the Clemson game or and then the Akron game is going to be separate than the Clemson game, and just like the bowl game was separate from them. And I just think we didn't do a good job preparing mindset into that game, preparing our mindset for the bowl game. And that's something that we learned from and know not to make that mistake again.
So do you feel like an old guy now, or do you still kind of feel like a new guy, or is it kind of set in that, hey, this is like, my last go-round with these guys?
Yeah, no doubt. I definitely feel like an older guy now, especially with the freshmen coming in, being born in, like, 01. It was weird. It's been cool to kind of, give all the knowledge I have, especially to carry on and Ryan, and really getting to pour myself into them, pour my knowledge into them. So it's been a really cool experience.
When you have a chance to be around, because I know, like, from my standpoint as a photographer, I've been able to see you guys kind of pregame, the quarterbacks kind of do their own little thing. When you have guys, like you were talking about, like the two that you mentioned, and then in addition to that, you also have Uric, who, he came in as a quarterback, but I'm sure you guys are still tight. He even mentioned that, hey, I just want to get on the field and do what's best for the team. What have you seen just collectively from that group that just kind of gives you, hope that maybe, hey, if something were to happen, we don't want it to, obviously, but if something were to happen, do you feel like they're in good hands beyond you?
Yeah, I mean, I think those two guys, and Jay, just are guys similar to Jay that just want to do whatever they can to help the team, and that's what I respect about them a lot. Is it's definitely a team first mentality from all three of them, and really something that that speaks to their character, and since they have that mindset, when they get their opportunity, whenever that will be, they'll be ready to go.
Since this is your last season, I know you toyed around with the idea of, hey, maybe there's an opportunity I could go pro or something like that, but ultimately you decided to make the decision to come back this time next year. What do you want the legacy of Jake Bentley to be?
Yeah, I'd say just to be a guy that played hard for his teammates and did whatever he could to win a game, and that's I've tried to make the biggest impact I could here in this state and with our team and teammates. So that's really all I care about is the relationships that I've built and did whatever I could to go win.